So you're thinking about moving to Nashville, Tennessee. My hope is that my regrets about moving here will help you make the decision one way or the other. I'm going to cover my regrets about the weather, money, career opportunities, and where I moved. I promise I won't sugarcoat anything. And I'll even share my most embarrassing regret that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm getting started right now. While I do have several things I regret I didn't know about before moving to Nashville, there is one thing I definitely don't regret getting to take advantage of, and that's the fantastic job market in Nashville. In fact, Nashville has the #1 job market in the country as of the making of this video. I also don't regret my choice of becoming a realtor here in Nashville. So if this is your first time to the channel, my name is Vegh with the Tennessee Soon team. If you really are considering a move to Nashville, my team and I would love to see how we can serve you to help you buy that perfect home. You can find all of our contact information down in the description. Now let's kick it off with my first regret: making purchases. What do I mean by that? Well, this regret is ongoing, and even after 10 years of living in Nashville, I can still feel a little twinge of regret when I buy something here. That's because Tennessee has one of the highest sales tax rates in the nation. Nashville itself has a sales tax of 9.25%, with other areas of Tennessee sometimes having an even higher rate, up to a maximum of 9.75%. Some groceries are taxed at a lower rate here, but if you're hankering for a Big Mac and fries, you are going to pay the full sales tax for prepared food. Listen, if I'm being realistic, there are other factors about living in Nashville that offset the high sales tax, such as the lack of a state income tax here, but it still doesn't change that little bit of regret you feel sometimes when you hear that final total at checkout. Something I miss quite a bit is next, because Nashville has no beaches. This may not bother many of you, as where you live may not have beaches either, but I spent the second half of my childhood and several of my adult years in Florida near the Atlantic. And I really miss the sand, the waves, and the ocean life culture. That's not to say there isn't aquatic opportunities in Nashville. You do have Old Hickory Lake, Percy Priest Lake, the Cumberland River, and my personal favorite, Radnor Lake, all close by. They just don't scratch the same itch for me as going to the beach did, so I can't help but feel that regret and loss of one of my childhood staples. Also, I miss palm trees, though not the splinters I used to get when trying to climb them. Now, my wife is not going to believe what I'm about to say, but another regret I have about moving to Nashville is it generally has no white Christmases. This may sound crazy after I just got done talking about Florida beaches, but I've also lived in Utah, Oregon, and Michigan, and there's something magical about a shimmering blanket of snow adorning the meadows and the rooftops during the holidays. Don't get me wrong, it does snow here in Nashville, but it's pretty rare during the winter season, and when it does snow, it drives me crazy, but I'll get to that in a second. It's not something I lose sleep over, but I do miss how beautiful the winter season can be, and that lack is something I had to come to terms with in Tennessee. The summers here do get pretty hot, but overall we don't get some of the joys that come with living in a tropical climate or the picturesque beauty of a white Christmas. My next regret is something I hinted at a few seconds ago, and that's dealing with the snow and ice shutdowns. As I mentioned before, I've lived in a few places where snow and ice are expected and prepared for. But Nashville? Well, because the winter season here gets snow and ice so infrequently, it doesn't make sense for there to be a strong investment by local government and businesses to have legions of snowplows and salt trucks at the ready. So because of the road risks, sometimes parts of Nashville will shut down if there's just heavy snow on the forecast. My children missed 2 days of school this year because it was supposed to snow and it didn't. I also live in a small subdivision that's at the top of a hill, and so if our little street gets icy, we are trapped at home and have to wait it out until the ice melts enough. So in summation, I don't regret getting to enjoy Nashville's relatively mild seasons, but I do have some regret and a little indignation that Nashville can't handle snow and ice a little better. My most embarrassing regret is still to come. I'm just a little hesitant to share. And so this next regret I'm going to share is one that could have easily been solved if my younger self knew any better. But ultimately, when I moved to Nashville, I moved to the wrong area. The Nashville metro area is huge with a population of about 1.3 million, and it has a diverse array of unique areas. I did almost no research when I moved here, like on local culture or what different areas had to offer, and I focused my search almost entirely on monthly housing costs. So ultimately, I ended up in Antioch, Tennessee, which is like a sub-city within Greater Nashville, and it's a fine place to live, though looking back, I would have avoided certain places after being robbed multiple times, but that's another story. Now my family lives in Spring Hill, Tennessee, which is a Nashville suburb about 30 minutes south of Nashville. And getting to experience this and other Nashville suburbs, I realize now that they would have been much better fits for what we wanted out of living in Nashville. I get a lot of people who reach out looking to move to this area, and I've made it my mission to make sure if you move here, that you don't have this same regret. But the only way I can help you is you gotta reach out. So call me, text me, email me, and I can help you not make the same mistake I did. Now, Nashville has no shortage of entertainment, and it's the music capital of the world. And so I regret that Nashville has no theme parks. We've got museums, the Country Music Hall of Fame, abundant live music venues, and plenty of fun things to do, but it's not the same to me as a day at a great theme park. And Nashville doesn't have any. Tennessee, however, does have one claim to fame in this regard: Dollywood. And that theme park was voted the best in the nation by TripAdvisor. Only one problem. It's a 4-hour drive over to Dollywood, which is why I've never been. I've been spoiled in the past living near some of the nation's greatest theme parks, and I really do miss them and regret that it takes a big ordeal or a vacation to go enjoy one over a weekend. My next regret isn't my most embarrassing, and perhaps it isn't about Nashville exactly, but I definitely regret not becoming a realtor sooner. This regret has something to do with Nashville in one regard. It's the first area I've lived in that I felt like I wasn't going to leave someday. This career is the kind that one tends to take when they have fallen in love with where they live enough to want and be able to sell the idea to others. This is also more of a career regret in general. I just took way too long to pursue a real career, and because opportunity is so abundant in Nashville, that procrastination also had an opportunity cost that can't be measured. I love what I do here, and while there are a lot of realtors in Nashville, the opportunities here are so abundant and diverse that it always keeps things interesting and fulfilling. So yeah, I don't regret becoming a realtor here. I just regret that it took me so long. Finally, my biggest regret about moving to Nashville, Tennessee is not buying a house. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Of course he's gonna say that, he's a realtor. But please hear me out because this decision cost me big time. I did finally purchase a home in 2020 after being a renter my entire life, and I've loved the benefits I've gained from that, but I also seriously regret that I didn't try to do this as soon as I moved to Nashville. For perspective, the average price of a home when I moved to Nashville was about $179,000. And now in 2023, just a decade later, that average is about $451,000. There are things about homeownership that I regret I was just not educated on when I moved here, such as THDA and USDA loans that can cover your entire down payment. I also didn't know, and this blew my mind, that homeowners have an average net worth of 40 times that of renters here in the US. Let me say that again. 40 times higher on average. If I would have purchased back in 2013, when you factor in paying down the principal with monthly payments, I would likely have made about an average of $30,000 in annual appreciation because I didn't wait to buy. Buying a house isn't for everyone though. Renting has its benefits. And if you plan on being in Nashville for just a year or two, I might not recommend buying a house to you or any of my clients in that situation, because I never want to see them go upside down on a home if the market shifts. Now, you may have some questions about what makes a move to Nashville worth it, which I cover in this video right here. What I definitely do not regret is getting to spend a little time with you talking about Nashville. So thank you for watching, and I hope to Tennessee you soon.